It's not, hey, let's open them all as fast as we can and then we'll backfill it with systems and structure after the fact. It's, no, let's do the best we can with the circumstances that we have now, the resources we have now, and that will create more opportunities for us in the future. So I got the opportunity to be a head college baseball coach when I was 23 years old, youngest coach in the country, and in many ways over my head. But, you know, I knew that opportunity didn't come along very often, so I wanted to dive in. But because the job was, you know, it was a part-time paying job that I cobbled together other jobs on campus to be able to pay the bills, our resources were pretty weak. You know, we were in the transition to try to go Division III. We were still competing at a scholarship level at the NAIA. So our opponents all had more scholarship money. They had bigger budgets. There were a lot of things that made that job kind of challenging. So early on, I spent a lot of time chasing other opportunities, applying for these other jobs to try to parlay, you know, this early opportunity into something that might be better very quickly. And it was always this grass is always greener on the other side mentality. And somebody early on, and to be fair, I can't exactly remember who it was, told me, look, the key to this is making the big time where you are. And I'm sure in the back of my mind as a young coach, I kind of rolled my eyes at it thinking I knew everything and whatnot. But what I soon kind of recognized was the people that I had, you know, that I admired, the people that were in the positions that I thought, man, that's somewhere I would like to be later on down the road. That's exactly what they had done. They had gotten into a situation. They had, you know, a set of circumstances that may not have been optimal, and they did the best they could with those. And over time, the situation got better. Maybe their pay increased, maybe their budget increased, maybe their facilities improved, and things just kept improving. And because of that, they would inevitably get other opportunities. Now, whether or not those other opportunities were enough to pull them away, you know, sometimes they had made a situation so good that they didn't want to leave. And if I think about my path as a college coach, that was, I think, when we turned the corner. It was like, how can I make this program the best that it can be? And the first couple of years, we kind of plodded along. We did okay. We won a little bit more than we lost. But that third year, I really decided I'm going to pour into this and I'm going to do everything I can to maximize the resources and the circumstances we do have. And we made a jump and we became a nationally competitive program for the duration of my time there. And I carried that into the work that I did in business moving forward. I learned very quickly, it's, you know, hey, let's not chase opening the next location until this first location is really good. And just because maybe there's greater opportunity outside of the niche that I'm in, like I've coached business owners in the fitness industry for 20 years now, there's probably been a substantially bigger amount of financial opportunity to coach business owners who are in fields that generated more revenue. But, you know, I think for me, instead of chasing that and, you know, being able to kind of keep myself grounded and stay where my feet are and make the circumstances that I have better, it's allowed me to have a whole lot more of the experience that I've wanted to as a business owner, you know, over that last 20 years, and especially over the last 10 or 11 years. So when I look around at the people that I admire most in the professional world, whether it's coaching or, you know, the business side of things, most of the time they've all kind of walked that same path, right? If I think about people like Dan Hefner at Dallas Baptist University, who, you know, took over a program that hadn't been at the Division I level very long. In fact, Dallas Baptist was an NAIA program when I coached against them in the World Series, and they actually handed us our most heartbreaking defeat during my tenure as a coach. Well, he took over a program and they've become a perennial regional participant, and they're one of the winningest programs over the last decade in all of Division I baseball. And that's been really due to his ability to build that program around player development and to make the most of the resources they have, and then over time create better circumstances. Or if I think about my former player, Brian Harrison, who's been at Baldwin-Wallace University for, I believe, like 16 years now. When he took over that program, it was a really kind of mediocre Division III program that was far more well-known for football than it was for baseball. Took over the program, and they've made a dozen regionals. They've made 4 World Series trips, and it didn't start with him having the best resources in the conference. I mean, to date, he probably still doesn't, right? But he made the most of the circumstances he had, and that program's gotten better and better. And in both cases, both of those coaches have had opportunities to move to bigger programs, and both have decided to stay and continue to build on what they've created. Or if I look in the business world, Eric Cressy, really all of his opportunities came from being great right where he is. You know, whether it was the work that they did in Massachusetts, creating opportunities to open a Florida location, or the expansion in Florida because they did so well that demand outpaced supply, or the opportunities to work in professional baseball, first as a consultant with the Twins and then later with the Yankees, came from his prowess and acumen in the private sector world. And so if I think about that, or, you know, my business partner, Doug Sperling, like his ability to really parlay each thing that he's done into the next opportunity. If we think about, you know, his first gym, he took a location, he started when he was 21 years old and kept optimizing it until it became a powerhouse in a town of 12,000 people, and they're doing 7 figures annually. And he used that to start investing in real estate. And then with each successful real estate investment, some of those proceeds would go to create the next one. And now, you know, he's opening up new, smaller footprint gyms, and they're really a product of one doing exceptionally well and the system improving. So then that begets the next one, and they buy the real estate for that one and open. And then the system continues to get stronger, and that creates an opportunity for the next one. It's not, hey, let's open them all as fast as we can, and then we'll backfill it with systems and structure after the fact. It's, no, let's do the best we can with the circumstances that we have now and the resources we have now, and that will create more opportunities for us in the future. So, I mean, I started this episode off talking about not getting this personally early on. So if you've been somebody who's chased after the next shiny object, or you've worried about, okay, how quickly can I do this next thing? How quickly can I expand? How quickly can I pursue the next career opportunity? The best way I know, after 20 plus years of business ownership, after 30 plus years of coaching, the best opportunity that I know to get a better situation is to maximize the situation you currently have.